Hey there, history buffs. Today we're diving into the world of the Aztecs. These guys weren't just about pyramids and sacrifices, although they did have a thing for those. They built an empire, a really impressive empire actually. So where did these guys come from? Picture this, present-day Mexico around the 1300s. A group known as the Mexica, later known as the Aztecs, were just getting started. Think of them as the new kids on the block trying to find their place among the already established civilizations. Legend has it, they originated from a place called Aztlan. No one knows for sure where Aztlan was, but it's fun to imagine a magical place where everyone walked around in feathered headdresses. Anyways, these nomads wandered around for years searching for a place to call home. Finally they saw a sign, an eagle, perched on a cactus devouring a snake. Metal, right? This was it, the sign they'd been waiting for. The eagle-cactus-snake combo basically screamed, "Build your empire here!" And that's exactly what they did. They settled in the middle of Lake Texcoco and founded their capital, Tenochtitlan, in 1325. Let me tell you, building a city on a lake is no walk in the park. Think Venice, but with more pyramids and less gelato. Starting an empire from scratch isn't easy. It's a bit like trying to become the most popular kid in school, except instead of cafeteria trades, you've got warfare and alliances. The Aztecs were ambitious though. They were tired of being pushed around by other, more powerful city-states. They formed alliances with nearby groups, like a savvy high schooler joining the cool clubs. Together they flexed their military muscles and started conquering neighboring territories. It wasn't pretty, but hey, empire building rarely is. One of their biggest power moves, the Triple Alliance. They teamed up with two other powerful city-states, Texcoco and Tlacopan. This alliance was like the Avengers assembling for the first time, only instead of saving the universe, they were conquering Mesoamerica. By the 15th century, the Aztecs were top dogs. They controlled a vast empire stretching from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean. They had it all: power, wealth, and a killer view from the top of their pyramids. But it wasn't just about brute force. They were smart cookies. They developed a tribute system, demanding goods and services from conquered peoples. This system, while efficient, made them a few enemies. Imagine having to pay taxes in the form of feathers, gold, and, oh yeah, sometimes people. Not exactly a recipe for winning popularity contests. Now, let's break down Aztec society. Think of it like a pyramid because, well, they loved pyramids. At the very top, you had the emperor, the big cheese, the head honcho. He was considered semi-divine, a representative of the gods on earth. Talk about pressure. Below the emperor, you had the nobles. These guys were like the VIPs of Aztec society, enjoying the best seats in the house, or, pyramid. They held important government positions, led armies, and threw lavish parties. Then came the warriors, the muscle of the Aztec world. Being a warrior was a big deal. It was a way to climb the social ladder, earn respect, and maybe even get a cool feathered headdress of your own. Priests were also pretty high up there. They were the keepers of knowledge, in charge of all things religious. They performed rituals, made sacrifices, more on that later, and basically acted as intermediaries between the gods and the people. Below them you had the commoners, farmers, merchants, artisans. They were the backbone of Aztec society, keeping things running smoothly. And at the very bottom, you had slaves. Life as a slave in the Aztec Empire was pretty rough, not exactly a vacation you'd want to book. Section 4, Gods, Glory, and Sacrifices, the Aztec religion. Let's talk about religion. The Aztecs were polytheistic, meaning they believed in multiple gods and goddesses. And I'm not talking about a handful of deities here, we're talking a whole pantheon of gods, each with their own personality and responsibilities. They had gods for everything: rain, sun, war, you name it. Their most important god was Huitzilopochtli, the god of war, and the sun. He was kind of a big deal. I mean, his name literally translates to hummingbird of the south. How cool is that? Now, here's where things get a little intense. The Aztecs believed that the gods needed regular offerings to keep the world going. And we're not talking about fruits and vegetables here, we're talking sacrifices, human sacrifices. Yeah, you heard that right. They believed that offering human hearts and blood to the gods was essential for maintaining balance in the universe. It was a pretty gruesome affair, but to them it was a sacred duty. Section 5. Farming like a boss. Aztec Innovations. Okay, enough about sacrifices, let's talk about something a little less intense. Aztec Innovations. These guys weren't just about warfare and religion. They were also incredibly skilled engineers, architects, and farmers. Remember how they built their capital city on a lake? Yeah, that wasn't just for the cool factor. They developed a system of floating gardens called chinampas. These gardens were like little islands of fertile land, perfect for growing crops. Talk about sustainable agriculture. They also had a complex system of causeways and canals, connecting different parts of the city. It was like their version of the freeway system, but with canoes instead of cars. And let's not forget about their pyramids. These towering structures were not just impressive feats of engineering, but also served as temples, palaces, and even observatories. They were like the Swiss Army knives of buildings. Section 6. The Empire strikes out. Downfall of the Aztecs. So, the Aztecs were at the top of their game. They had a powerful empire, a complex society, and some pretty impressive innovations. So, what went wrong? Well, as with many empires throughout history, their success sowed the seeds of their own destruction. Remember how their tribute system made them a few enemies? Yeah, those conquered people weren't exactly thrilled about sending their hard-earned goods, and sometimes people, to Tenochtitlan. Enter Hernán Cortés, a Spanish conquistador with a thirst for gold and a knack for exploiting rivalries. He arrived in Mexico in 1519 and quickly realized that the Aztecs weren't exactly beloved by their neighbors. Cortés saw an opportunity and seized it, forming alliances with the Aztecs' enemies. It also didn't help that the Aztecs initially mistook Cortés for Quetzalcoatl, a feathered serpent god from their mythology. Talk about awkward. They welcomed him into Tenochtitlan with open arms, which in hindsight wasn't the best move. With the help of their new allies and some advanced weaponry, guns, germs, and steel, Cortés and his men conquered Tenochtitlan in 1521, marking the end of the Aztec Empire. Section 7. The Aztec Legacy, still spicy today. The fall of the Aztec Empire was a pivotal moment in history. It marked the beginning of Spanish colonialism in Mexico and had a profound impact on the indigenous populations of the region. But even though their empire crumbled, the Aztecs' legacy lives on. Their influence can still be seen in Mexican culture today, from the food we eat, chocolate anyone, to the languages spoken. Their story is a reminder that even the most powerful empires can fall. It's a tale of ambition, innovation, and ultimately, the complexities of human history. So next time you're enjoying some guacamole or marveling at the pyramids, take a moment to remember the Aztecs, the once mighty rulers of Mesoamerica.